I didn't come to start a war that morning. I just wanted to breathe. The sea was calm, the kind of quiet that used to settle my bones. But when I stepped onto the porch of my beach house, laughter spilled through the open windows, high-pitched, entitled, and utterly foreign. My son's wife, Sarah, stood inside with her entire clan sprawled over my furniture, drinking from my glasses, using my towels. Her voice sliced through the air. "Why did that old leech show up here? No room for you." Her words didn't sting. They settled somewhere colder. I smiled. "It's okay, dear." But she didn't know what okay meant when it came from me. I bought this house the year my wife died. My son was still grieving, a boy trying to fill shoes 2 sizes too big. When he married Sarah, I thought she'd heal him. She was charming, intelligent, the kind of woman who could make a man feel chosen. I believed her smile. For a while, she played the perfect daughter-in-law. Dinners together, birthday surprises, fake concern about my blood pressure. I thought she loved my son. Then, one afternoon, I overheard them, not words, just tones. His voice low, hers sharp. Money, property, power. My name was spoken like an inconvenience. That's when I started watching. It began with small things. My pension statements arriving late, letters from the bank missing signatures I never gave. Then came the lawyer's call. My beachfront property had been transferred into a family trust. My signature was there, neatly forged. When I confronted my son, he avoided my eyes. Sarah held his hand and said, "Dad, you don't need to stress over paperwork. We're just securing things for the future." Their future. My end. That night, I sat on the porch and listened to the waves. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I just rewound every interaction with her. Every smile, every dad, every feigned hug, and I understood. She had replaced me in his heart, and now she wanted to erase me from his life. So I gave her what she wanted, or at least I made her believe I did. I started with silence. No arguments, no accusations. I even thanked her for handling things. She mistook that quiet for surrender. I spent months collecting copies of emails, recordings of her calls, transfers she made through shell accounts. I hired a friend from my army days to help trace it. Every transaction, every lie, every move was cataloged. Then I changed my will, quietly. Everything reverted to me, legally, through an overlooked clause she never noticed. And then I vanished. I let them think I'd moved to the mountains for peace. No calls, no visits, no interference. Meanwhile, I was watching from a distance. Their lavish vacations, her designer clothes, her smug posts about our family beach house. She had no idea she was living in a trap. When I returned unannounced that morning, it wasn't to reclaim the house. It was to trigger the end. As she mocked me in front of her family, my lawyer was already in the city court filing the motion that revoked her access, froze the trust, and initiated fraud proceedings under her name. The property, the accounts, even the cars, all tied to her signature trail. But I didn't say any of that, not yet. I just smiled and stepped inside, watching her irritation bloom into arrogance. "You really shouldn't be here," she said, smirking. "You're right," I replied softly, "but neither should you." She frowned. That's when my phone buzzed. A single message from my lawyer, filed and executed. I looked up at her. "You should answer the door." 2 officers stepped in moments later, calm, polite, efficient. They asked for Mrs. Sarah Malik. Her mother gasped. Her father stood frozen. My son looked like a boy again, small, helpless. They read the warrant, her name ringing through the air like a confession she never gave. "This is a mistake," she screamed, eyes darting to me. I didn't move, didn't speak, just watched as they escorted her out, still shouting, still pretending she was in control. It took my son weeks to understand. The house was never hers. The accounts were never his. Everything she'd built was made of stolen pieces, and I had simply rearranged them back where they belonged. When he finally came to see me, he didn't speak, just sat there, staring at the sea, the same way I once had. "I didn't know, Dad," he whispered. "I know," I said. "That's why I did. I go back to the beach every evening now. The same chair, the same waves. The house is quiet again, maybe too quiet, but peace has a price. Sometimes I hear her voice in the wind, angry, broken, trapped in whatever small apartment she could afford after the trial. I don't hate her, not anymore. Hatred keeps you chained to what hurt you. Justice sets you free." I light a cigarette, watching the tide swallow the footprints on the sand. She thought she took my place in his life, but in the end, he found out who took his, and who never truly left.